Okay, hello everybody. So today we're going to be talking about what if you have Moon in the ninth house in your Vedic astrological birth chart, and Moon in the ninth house is also your Arudha Lagna. So if you're not familiar with what an Arudha Lagna is, then I recommend that you go to astrology.thunderwizard.com, and I'm looking for the link right now. Astrology.thunderwizard.com so you can find out exactly where your Aruda is and what that means for you. So, Moon in the ninth house. So, we're talking about the Arudha Lagna. Now, Moon in the ninth house is going to be a very interesting and powerful placement in and of itself. But when it is your Arudha Lagna, it becomes even more powerful of a placement. So we need to talk about what is the Arudha Lagna. Arudha Lagna. Arudha Lagna. It means the mount or the vehicle for the self. The Lagna means the point in which your soul was screwed into place into your body, and where your rising sign or your Lagna is the glasses through which your soul sees this lifetime. So this is you, the soul, and then all of a sudden, let's say you're born in the sign of Aries, and then boom, now you see things through the lens of Aries, which is a Mars sign, which is putting that Aries um, tint to everything. So that's why the rising sign is so important. Remember, this is Vedic astrology, which is of East India, not Western astrology. So please don't try and look at your Western astrological chart and figure out what your Aruda is, because it's going to be off. It's going to be totally different. So what we are talking about is what happens when your mount or your vehicle in your chart is actually Moon in the ninth house. This is a very powerful placement. Of course, you're going to need to know what sign it's in and what aspects and what conjunctions and what planets are associated with it and all that kind of stuff. And for that, you need to get a reading. Go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. 50% off this month until the 1st of January 2020. At least my readings. So the Aruda is not who you are. Again, who you are is going to be seen primarily from where your rising sign is. That's going to be actually yourself, your vantage point. However, the moon is your mind, is your emotions, is your mental state. So where the moon is, you are going to have a strong emotional and identification. So you will, if the moon is your Aruda and the moon is in the ninth house, you are going to have a strong emotional connection to this Aruda. Now, this is powerful because the moon is seen as a spiritual planet. The moon is the mind, the moon is meditation. So when the moon is at its fullest and it's doing well and it's happy, then that gives the person a very meditative mindset. So remember, the meditation is to be able to have all of your feelings and have them balanced and to see even above them. It's like the moon shining on a very calm ocean. That is what meditation is, and that's what we want for the mind. We want the mind to be in that place. But it is your emotions, so it's your emotional life and your emotional vantage point as well. It's what you think about, where your mind and your emotions take you. Now, the mind is not the intellect, that is Mercury. We will talk about that another time. But when you have moon in the ninth house, then the mind is focused on things of the ninth house. So what is the ninth house? The ninth house is the house of the guru, the priest, the spiritual teacher. The priest is somebody who can put into words that which is unknowable. Or the more better is that the priest takes actions that release the spiritual powers that can't be put into words. So the priest is the one who does all of the rituals, and you could be in the presence while the priest is saying the mantra and putting the ghee on the thing or lighting the thing and the smoke through the air and playing the drum, and all of a sudden you go into trance and you see God. That's because of the power of the guru, the power of the priest. So this is the natural home of the temple. So whatever planet sits in the ninth house, it's as if that planet is visiting the temple. Now, you do need to know what sign it's in. So, the sign is going to have a huge impact. So, let's say, for instance, that we're talking about Sagittarius. So, if Sagittarius was in its own house, which is the ninth house, and Moon was sitting there, then it would be a very powerful placement, and it would be, the full moon priest or priestess. So this is going to give a priestly quality. Now, again, the sign is going to change everything. If it's, in Aries, or if it's in Leo, that's going to make it more fiery and a little more egotistical. But, Cancer, if it was in its own sign of Cancer, that would make it a very deep, very maternal, very healing priest or priestess sort of sign. But generally speaking, what we're talking about is the moon has gone to the temple. And so the moon represents healing, it represents nurturing, it represents the mother. So that's where the nurturing comes from. It represents the nectar of immortality, the very nourishing drink that makes you immortal and gives you strength and gives you youth, eternal health. So the moon is very strongly associated with health. Of course, it has emotional characteristics. So somebody who's here means that they will have strong emotional attachments to their religion or their spirituality. So the point is that when you walk in the room, if you have Moon in the ninth house as your Arudha Lagna, not only is this true even if it's not your Arudha, but if it is your Arudha, it means that when you walk in the room, people automatically get this sense of, wow, the priest or the priestess of healing has just walked in. That means that your very presence, your countenance, is going to have a healing, spiritually healing effect on people. Very calming, very pleasant, very sweet, because the moon is sweet in nature. It's also representative of mead, very sweet, intoxicating, beautiful, spiritual. So that's going to be their experience of you when you walk into the room. Now, what do you do with that information? Well, the Arudha Lagna is your mount of yourself. It is the vehicle through which yourself, your identity in this lifetime, gets its success. That's why it's so important. And so with this placement, you're going to have this effect on people anyway. But when it's your Arudha is how the rest of the world interfaces with you. So let's say that you are an Aries ascendant, but that would mean that your ninth house would be Sagittarius. So the moon in Sagittarius would be a very spiritual, very emotional, healing priest or priestess. That's already the case, but this is how people see you. In other words, when you walked in the room, if you're an Aries ascendant with Sagittarius in the ninth house and moon in the ninth house, it would mean that people see you as this moon priest or priestess of Sagittarius. They would think you're Sagittarius. And the reason why this is important is because we go around trying to tell people who we really are. We want people to see us for who we really are, but people won't. People are going to see you based on the light that bounces off of you. The Arudha is also called the reflection. It's the reflection of the self. It is what you and the universe has decided that is the best way for you to interact with the world and to gain your greatest success. So bottom line is, if you have moon in the ninth house, you are a healing priest or priestess in the eyes of everybody that you come in contact with. Again, depending on other factors, but for the most part, generally speaking, this is the case. And so you need to present yourself that way. So does that mean, if you're a woman, that you go out walking in white flowing clothes all the time, like, a 70s rock star? Maybe. Do you wear lots of moonstone around you so that people get the moon from you? They want to see you that way, as this nurturing priest or priestess associated with the moon. And so they see you as very emotionally, somebody who's very emotional, very emotionally healing, depending on what's happening with it. But even if it's in a bad aspect, it's still how people want to see you. So you can't escape it. People want to see you the way your Aruda is, whether you like it or not. So the point is, you want to be successful, you want to have a good career, you want to make money, then you have to present yourself to the world as your Aruda. In this case, you need to present yourself as a priest or priestess of healing, of nurturing. And so anyway, I've beaten that horse to death. So if you want to find out what your Aruda is, you need to go to astrology.thunderwizard.com and get a reading from me and or from any one of my apprentices. You can also go to, is it astrologycertification.thunderwizard.com, I believe it is. But I'm making things too difficult. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com if you want to be certified in the kind of a Vedic astrology that I teach. And then you can start your own business and you can do what I do. What I teach and what I give in my readings is unique. There are plenty of Vedic astrologers out there, some of them who have a lot more knowledge than I do in a bunch of different areas. I have spent years studying things in my chart, and I've gone to various astrologers and dug deep to find the things that I can use throughout my life. The Aruda is something that you can use throughout your life, regardless of what planetary period you're going through or what planetary aspects or planetary changes are happening. No matter what else is going on around you or where the planets are right now, if you know things like your Aruda, that is something that you can bank on. No matter what, the Aruda, in my experience, is the most important thing for your fame and your success. And in terms of your work, you need to show up presenting yourself as your Aruda, regardless of what you do for a living, because that's how you will be successful in your work. Okay? So you can go to courses.thunderwizard.com to find, if you want to learn the kind of astrology that I teach, or if you just want to get an astrology reading, astrology.thunderwizard.com. Okay, that's it for me. I'm off to make more Aruda videos, so I will talk to you soon.